to 7.6% as a result of these performance of the market. So the market was mainly driven by a renewed interest in oil and gas counters such as photo oil, corn oil, Owando, which has been significantly beaten by profit takers in the last 3 sessions. On the contrary, market activity declined as volume and value actually fell by 55.2% and 86.2%. We're seeing the volume actually recording 188.6 million units. Value came in at 1.3 billion naira, and the deals 3,161 deals. The market is actually set in continuous trade. We'll keep an eye on how the market is doing today. I will be discussing the equities market just before Christmas for our viewers who perhaps may want to make profits out of today's performance. We saw how the market actually gained yesterday after losing for 3 consecutive sessions, but investors allowed it to breathe a little bit, perhaps to come in today and make some profits. At this point, let's bring in Wale Olusi, who is the investment analyst at AfroInvest, to discuss with us the consumer goods sectors. Just before Christmas, everyone is looking at the pockets and saying how much they can spend during this period. I'm sure Wale is one of them. Wale, good morning.
Good morning, Bola.
It's great to have you on the program.
Pleasure.
Tell us the mood about how the market, in terms of the consumer goods market, is faring just 2 days before Christmas.
Wow, 2 days before Christmas, what we noticed was that yesterday was a flip in the sentiment we saw between Monday and Wednesday, where most of the counters on the exchange were being sold off due to, I guess, some investors trying to take profit after we saw a 4-day straight rally the previous week. But what we think is that from yesterday and probably today, for the rest of the year, there's a likelihood that some portfolio investors might want to do some mop-up trades to just close their books for the year. But let's drill it down, particularly the consumer goods stuff. They've not had a good year given the overall challenge in the economy. Many of them have had serious pressure on their cost lines and their finance charges. So apart from that, their top line have been also dragged by the fact that consumer spending has been very weak, given a higher inflation and pressure coming in from all sorts of economic indicators, including the fact that a number of people actually lose their job. Now, bringing that down to this December period, of course, people will definitely do their December shopping, and that should definitely add 1 or 2 points to their performance for Q4 2016 because of the usual Yuletide and festivity spending. But what we think this period is that it might not be as much as we saw it in the previous year because many of the usual people that we spend as much as they can during December may not be able to spend as much because income are very low. I think I know a number of my friends whose organization won't be doing the usual Christmas bonus, rice and stuff because they want to conserve their cash for the year. While looking at other means of trying to make their staff happy. Then apart from that, looking at all the Ponzi scheme in the economy, a lot of people actually got their fingers burnt. So they may not be having a lot of exciting Christmas because they've logged in money in some of these schemes and they can't get it out, at least for what we know, until January 14th. So, it might not be as rosy as it is, but we think people will still spend. Consumer goods company, they haven't had a good year so far, but this is also bad for them because even though things might go, people might spend because of the festivity, the fact that they won't spend as much is going to bring them to a net negative position.
Okay, very, very sadly, though, that many people will have to cut back on spending, of course, trying to caution themselves on how they actually spend during this period. But let's take a look at the stocks quoted under the consumer goods market in the equities market. Despite the fact that we had a gain yesterday, 0.18% gain at the all-share index, that was the broad index gaining that much. The consumer index didn't record any major movement in terms of upward price gain yesterday. We're seeing losses in unwell flour, for instance. It was down 4.7%. International brewers, 3.8%. And that actually pushed down the whole consumer goods sector. Why do you think we have these negative close for these stocks quoted under the consumer goods sector?
Okay, but like you mentioned earlier, what we saw yesterday was largely driven by gains in oil and gas stickers, including Seplat, FO, corn oil, and the likes of Oando. So the consumer goods index didn't really gain yesterday because in the earlier part of the week, the likes of Dangote Sugar, Nigerian Breweries were down, and investors didn't really pick them yesterday. I think some people are still taking profit on what we saw last week because many of them actually rallied in the previous week because it was a all-sector gain. The index itself was up more than 2%. I mean, the consumer goods index itself.
Okay.
So I think it was still more of the profit takers cashing out on the gains they've made in the previous week. And the big movers in that sector, the likes of Nigerian Breweries, Nestle, and Guinness, were not, enjoying from the buying sentiment we saw yesterday. So I think that was why we didn't see the gain. Again, the gain was largely due to renewed interest in energy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I have to cut in there. Wale Olusi, investment analyst with AfriInvest, discussing the consumer goods sector and how Nigerians are coping with rising prices of basic food items in which they have to spend more. And a lot of people are actually cutting back on how much to spend during this period. We'll be talking more about the markets when we return from the break. We'll be taking a look at the oil and gas index. Also, how are the stocks that are quoted in that sector, how do they fare? We'll be right back.